How's it going, guys? Um, this is gonna be a really short review because it's hot as hell in my room and I turned the box fans off so that you can hear me talk. So, I'm gonna get right down to it. I didn't realize that Bloodstained Curse of the Moon was gonna be a thing if I hadn't have looked up the Wikipedia page of the list of games coming out in 2020. Um, I just found it. There was like no marketing at all for the game. Um, so yeah, this is actually going to be more like a mini review just because there's not a lot to say about it that wasn't in the first one. It's pretty much more of the same. It's a throwback to the old Castlevania games. You just it's more of the same old NES style Castlevania games. It's really hard. As a matter of fact, I haven't actually beaten it yet. I'm just talking about it just for the sake of so I don't have to worry about sweating my ass off while editing and all that stuff. So this is kind of like a mini review. Um, So you play as this guy Zangetsu who was in Ritual of the Night, and he's kind of like your balanced character. He has a fair amount of health. He's also, he can jump fairly well. His run is average Joe. All right. Later on, you get a three-hit combo, which is actually really helpful, and then you have I can't remember their names, so I'm just gonna describe them. Blech. Describe them. I need some water. I'm dehydrated. She has a spear that she can use to kind of like bounce off enemies and objects to reach like higher places or hidden areas. Um, she can also use her spear shooting. She can shoot her spear up, projectiles or candles or whatever. Um, she's she doesn't have as much health as Zangetsu, but she's faster and she can jump higher and all that stuff. And then you have this old man who can shoot a rifle, and he's probably actually my favorite character just because he can just shoot at long distances and get a lot of cheap enemies out of the way before actually encountering them head on. Um, he can also go prone, and he can kind of like he can shoot while prone too, which is awesome. And he can also crawl through spaces. Um, so he's a cool guy. He's probably my favorite to play as. And then you have this big that they call it an alchemist, but it's like a dog controlling a giant suit of armor that can just like smash everything, and also has this invincibility mode that you use with magic. And that's like the heavy but slow character. Um, and yeah, you just go through stages, killing shit, platforming, fighting bosses at the end of each stage. It's still that good old feeling, Castlevania-esque. Um, Now, I'm trying to think of things that weren't in the first one, but really, there is local two-player. Unfortunately, there's no online co-op. There's only local co-op. And man, this goes for any game that implements co-op. When they do it in the way that it only favors like one way to do it, like if I get to have co-op in a game, I want co-op online, local, invite. I want all the shit. I don't just want like local co-op only or online co-op only. Although I probably would actually rather prefer online co-op only because I only have one controller and I don't really have anyone to play with. So I prefer online, but like why are we still doing local only in 2020? um but yeah, there's co-op, and I'm sure it's pretty cool. I just haven't experienced in it, and I probably never will be able to experience it unless I get a second controller, which is not cheap, and I don't think spending 50 or $60 is worth checking out the co-op. I could probably just look it up online. Um, the thing I hate about this game is that like the problem I had with the first Curse of the Moon is like amplified in the second half of this. The second half of the game is way too fucking hard, and I understand that it's kind of made that way, it's designed this way, but even on casual mode, I'm just dying over and over again on the second half, whereas in the first half I hardly died, you know. So like, I feel like even if people would argue that difficulty is a part of the game, like it is in the Souls series or you know all the retro NES titles, difficulty spikes are always a bad thing to me. And while the first Curse of the Moon game had you know occasional cheat moments, the second one has more of that, especially in the second half. So yeah, that's kind of all there is to it. It's just it's just a Castlevania clone, 2D, old school retro 8-bit graphics. I gave Curse of the Moon an 8 2 years ago. I'd probably give this one a 7. I think it's kind of a step down due to the difficulty spikes, and the lack of you know online co-op functionality. I would have liked to see. It's probably around the same length too, and it's also $5 more expensive than the first one. So yeah, I think a 7 out of 10 is fair considering I gave the first one an 8. Ritual of the Night is still the best in the series. That gets a 9 from me. All right, guys, I'm sweating balls here. I gotta wrap it up. Thank you very much for watching. I'll turn my box fan back on.
The Gamer Gods!